Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, and now today I'm very excited to announce we are doing a very special review. It is of course Moon Knight, so all the way from the mystic realm of ancient Egypt. This is the older version of Moon Knight, so again this is the one that does not include the new Oscar Isaac head sculpt. But he's popular right now, I own him, so without further ado let's just jump in and start the review. The first thing I want to start with is the packaging. Now, as you can see, it's got a lovely design. I'm not really a fan of like box designs when it comes to Hot Toys or any of the other collectibles. But with this box in particular, I think they really nailed the Moon Knight / ancient Egypt theme. You see it and you know exactly what it's trying to represent and what it shows. It's got lovely embroideries all over. There's little bits of reflective gold on it, and I think that does pop out very well. And there's a bit of a 3D design going on with the front, with how that just pops out. Which, yeah, absolutely fantastic design. And if you wanted to display it, I would not blame you at all. Let's just crack open the box and see what you get. As per usual with Hot Toys, a lot of plastic trays, everything laid out pretty nicely. But the first thing I want to take a look at is the body and costume design, because honestly, I think this is one of Hot Toys' best when it comes to actual costume design. Like, his presence is absolutely incredible. The way they blend all the colours together are phenomenal. The little embroideries all over the body and suit. It's like chef's kiss, honestly. And you'll even notice on the bottom of the cape, they've managed to synthesize how it looks like it's been worn, and it looks quite old. Where they've obviously like trimmed the bottom and torn some of it, and it looks phenomenal. Also with the cape, it has 4 wires that run through it, so you can get some good poses to make it look like there is a lot of wind or gust blowing him back. So yeah, it adds a lot of life to however you want to pose. You can have the cape going up and around. They could have added a couple more, but it does the job, and it does it very well. Now, sometimes it can be quite hard to achieve the old and worn aesthetic, but I think they really did pull it off with this one. And let's just talk about the underlying bodysuit. I mean, it's wrapped up as if he's been mummified, had a bit of a mummification going on. And a lot of the design is sculpted into his body. It's not just printed on. And that brings us to the chest piece. It's got the crescent moon logo, and it's a mix of plastic and cloth, which looks a little bit bronzed and weathered. You've got a fabric belt and loincloth, 2-piece sculpted boots. So now, there isn't really a head sculpt, but I want to talk about the mask design. A lot of people complained when this first came out that this one didn't come with a head sculpt, and they have since released a newer version with a head sculpt. But to be honest, the character in this version, he's always fully cloaked, so it doesn't really matter too much to me. Again, I think it's an iconic look just having it, but I guess the variety would have been quite nice to have the head sculpt with. But yes, with this one, it does actually light up. They did put a lot of craft and detail into this, even though there is no other head sculpt. I think the light up eyes is a very cool feature. But the thing I do like about the light up feature is that even when they're off, the reflective eye, it still looks very good. Like, it doesn't look quite hollow. They did a fantastic job just to really emphasize if you want it on and to emphasize when it's off. But a pro tip, make sure you have newer batteries. Mine were quite dim. The only issue I do have with this is that the hood is crafted, it's like a plastic, and it's not actually cloth or fabric, so you can't move it as much. So it is actually permanently attached. You like the design, it does keep it there permanently. So again, for you that could be a pro, but for me it's a tiny bit of a con just because the variety isn't there. Now this does bring us to the accessories now. So let's just get into what you're paying for. You get 10 interchangeable wrapped hands, 2 fists, 2 relaxed, 2 gesture hands, 2 for holding the crescent blades, and 2 for throwing them. Lots of variety on how you want to pose this figure. Just having that many different hands, you can really experiment with some of the poses. And then of course you have the weapons, which we briefly just touched upon, which is 8 crescent blades, all in 3 different sizes. You got 2 large, 3 medium, and 3 small. For me, the best ones to pose with are the larger ones. But I think the best accessory you do get is actually the backdrop. So when it comes with the stand, you get a massive crescent moon in the back. Yeah, it really does make it a centerpiece when it comes to your collection and your cupboard. And just make sure you have enough room if you want to display it in its full glory. I mean, I'd honestly call the accessory count pretty good. Like, there's a lot that you get with this, especially with the other features with the light up eyes. I think you do get value for money, especially when it comes to this figure. Now, let's talk about articulation and posing. It's pretty solid. They obviously designed it to be quite a agile one to pose. Sometimes the armor gets in the way of the arm movement, but the legs, you know, world's your oyster. There's many ways you can pose him to look like he's doing a karate kick, just flying in the air. Really does give off kind of like Spider-Man posing vibes, which you would expect for a character that's got 30 points of articulation, and the clothing is quite light, to be honest. Yeah, the wide cape works very well when it comes to the posing. You'll see you can get very good wind effects. We've just shown in our very small stop motion animation. And then the ankle joints are very solid too. So again, he can stand on his own. You won't need, you know, the big ass base or backdrop. But it is cool to pose with that. But if you do want him standing on his own, he's perfectly capable. I had no problems. I've seen online some people did, but for me, again, not the worst when it comes to freestanding. The next thing I want to do is do a height comparison, which we have two subjects to compare him with today. One of a bit of a retro dive. So here is Moon Knight with Blade. Now, Blade is one of my favourite figures. So I kind of just wanted to get him in all his glory next to Moon Knight, as they do complement each other quite well. You've got the black and the white. There's not many characters you can compare with for Moon Knight, because he's only in his one spin-off show. Great show, by the way. So there's not really anything that you can compare with realistically. So the only other one I did try was the Punisher. And hopefully they form a supergroup at some point. Dark colours really do complement Moon Knight very well. So if you want to put him on a shelf with some of your badass characters, I'd highly recommend that. But you'll see there's not too much height difference. He doesn't tower over. He is a little bit shorter. So yeah, it really does mean he does have to be like front and centre. We've now got to that stage where it's the pros versus the cons. Now, pros, I could go on for hours, but let's just do it very, very briefly. Light up eyes, always a bonus. That is a fantastic feature. The costume and the armour detail is absolutely phenomenal. The cape, 4 bendable wires. There's a lot to play with there. Articulation's great. The amount of accessories, like all the crescent moons, great. And that does include the backdrop crescent moon. And yeah, there's not really much else I can praise it for. Absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. The only con, no head sculpt. But they have done a new version. So if that is something you're looking for, you will be paying, obviously, a bit of extra money. This one, you'll probably be able to pick up for around £300. But the newer one, if I had to guess, it's probably about £400 just for the head sculpt. I think this one is fantastic value for money. So let's just get straight into the rating. For the amount you get and the amount you pay for it, and how cool it actually looks on a shelf, what would I rate this out of 10? Solid 9. Strong 9. Like I say, if it had the head sculpt, it would be a 10. Yeah, there's not much you can really go wrong with. If it was cheaper, that would also take it up to a 10. Because I gave Wolverine a 9 as well, and that was just because he cost around about £150. If this was 200 and not 300, yeah, it'll be a straight 10. Do with that what you will. If this has interested you, be sure to check out my eBay. I have a lot of figures listed, some that just don't fit my collection anymore. But yeah, if you like the review, be sure to leave a comment down below. Tell me what you liked, and tell me if there's anything I've missed. And I'll be sure to update with YouTube Shorts if there is anything that you'd like an update on. If you own Moon Knight and just wanted to see what someone else thought, please feel free to share what you love about Moon Knight. Yeah, give some thoughts about the show too. Anyways, guys, thank you all for stopping by, and we'll see you in the next one.